This is an experiential to transcend time in order to support yourself in the present day with your past and future self, traveling on a prism, journeying through time to find resource as well as to see what kind of support your future self can bring you into the present day. I also talk about some upcoming topics for the year that I'm interested in sharing with you that are going to be on the podcast throughout these coming months, as well as a quick update about how I'm doing. Hello and welcome. You're listening to the Embody Podcast, a show about remembering and embodying your true nature, inner wisdom, embodied healing, and self-love. My name is Candice Wu, and I'm a holistic healing facilitator, intuitive coach, and artist sharing my personal journey of vulnerability, offering meditations and guided healing support, and having co-creative conversations with healers and wellness practitioners from all over the world. Before we jump into the episode, I want to mention that the Ally with Death audio experiential that's been on sale since December of last year is on sale through today, midnight Central Time in the USA. You can buy it from anywhere in the world, but just ends at midnight Central Time. This experiential is to support you in propelling yourself into the new year with integration and clarity, with a sense of curiosity and playfulness, and coming back to alignment with yourself, letting anything that's built up through last year or the years of your life, anything that's been triggering or ways that you've talked to yourself, situations that you're just over, belief sets that have been weighing you down or feeling painful, to let these truly resolve and heal through a process of clearing the space and letting your body digest and compost what wants to transmute to give you fertile ground for this next segment of your life. It's great for the new year, and you can use it anytime once you order it. The MP3 is yours. It's a download. It's yours forever, and you can use it anytime that you'd like. I love doing it at certain times of seasonal changes or moon cycles, or once a year at least, so that I can just clear out what is ready to go or end, ready to shift, and bring a ritual that sets me forward into vitality. You can find that at CandiceWu.com/death. And once again, the sale ends today, January 6th, 2020. If you've missed the sale, please feel free to just go for it anyway. It's a great offer because you do get to keep this forever. And so, all the proceeds go back into the podcast. All the experientials that are free, all the meditations, the guests, all of that is fueled by the Ally with Death experiential, as well as the other offers that I have, and just your generous support for those of you who have just decided to give some money back. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart. Happy New Year. It's 2020. Welcome back. It's great to have you here with me today. Now that it's the new year, I thought it would be a great time to use this experiential of transcending time to support yourself right now, to bring more loving to yourself, to just bring this agreement with yourself that gives you your own full support. And just a few updates with me. December was a lot of anger and grief moving through my body. And over the last 6 months, a couple of astrologers had told me that a lot of planetary transits would be happening near and with Venus. I'm not an expert myself, but it made sense when they shared it with me. And what that has brought is a lot of rage, a lot of anger through my body, a lot of grief. It really reminded me of some of the forest fires that were happening in different parts of the world, that it was like a spiritual fire clearing out stuff in my body and getting every last bit. And while there's pain with that, I also felt a clearing happen around the solstice of December coming into this new year. Where are you? Are you in tune with your astrology? Is that helpful for you? And what have you been moving through? More and more, as I've built a stronger relationship with astrology and connection with it, I've noticed how true it is, but more so how it can really help me just to stay equanimous, to stay neutral and witness through what I'm going through, just like it's all part of it. So basically, it just gives me a lot more non-resistance to what I'm feeling and just knowing that it's all moving me in the direction of myself. So I wish that for you. I hope that whatever you're going through, that as you're moving through it, maybe if you can just say to yourself, okay, this is part of it. This is part of it. Then what happens? How can you be with yourself and be in that alignment with what is right now, what's happening right now, but with this greater awareness that you will move through it, or that you can reach out for support to get through it. I recently, in December, also did a constellation workshop with a group of healers and therapists, and we just dropped so deeply, instantly into what they were working with, and it was so great. I felt just really connected with the work, and facilitating constellations is such a powerful process for me. I feel incredibly present and seeing, aware, open eyes. And I did combine that with some self-forgiveness, with belief sets that were coming up for people through the constellation, through the ancestry, through how they may have perceived something, or someone in the ancestry had perceived something, and where sometimes that can either get distorted or misplaced, where we're holding something that someone in our lineage really experienced, and we can give it back to its original context. So that was wonderful. And as I've come into this new year, I feel that pleasure is a huge focus of my experience. Ever since I traveled to Thailand, over 2 years ago now, when I first set out, and actually the podcast was born a couple months later. So I first set out in 2017, November. The podcast was born in February 2018. And here we're entering into 2020. Ever since I left for Thailand and landed there, I felt that pleasure and enjoyment, simplicity, the feeling of purposelessness, just in getting me off the hook for the things that I felt so pressured inside about. That has been where I attune myself and align myself to. So the alignment of pleasure, aligning myself to pleasure as the guidepost for where I'm headed, what I'm doing, what I want to invest my energy in noticing experiences, even that feel unpleasurable, noticing where there is some pleasure or neutrality in it, finding pleasure in uncomfortable situations and feelings. That's all been my compass, pleasure. And in December, I had a Sexocology session with someone who's a student of Sexocology, and it was incredible. It was like an erotic massage, but it held the space for exploring my sensuality and physical pleasure in ways that are supported for healing and growth, rather than just experiencing like a one and done experience. It was more of a building and exploratory session. Alignment with pleasure really helped me be safe in my body in a lot of ways, to feel a new level of safety, even just noticing what's around me that looks pleasurable and allowing my body to integrate, seeing that thing in my space or outside, or noticing wherever I find a pleasurable sensation in my experience, like drinking a cup of tea and feeling that, or noticing how it feels to connect with a loved one and really taking it in while it's happening, knowing that I'm safe, inviting more pleasure into my life for my body, embracing it and feeling the right to pleasure. All of that has supported me in being in my body and really enjoying it. So this year, as we set forth into another year of the podcast, we're over 100 episodes now and coming up on our 2-year birthday, 2 years in February. I want to invite a lot of pleasure into this process and a lot of topics on pleasure. So BDSM, sexuality, where the genitals and other pleasure centers are waking up, pussy, polyamory, ethical non-monogamy, other sources of sensuality, the experience of embodied autonomy and sovereignty, and then other topics that I've been interested in and am going to bring forward this year are race and spirituality, as well as some hot topics, money and abundance, and our relationship with money and abundance. And who knows what else will come forward? We'll see. Because when I do open to pleasure, it's like magic happens. I can't even fathom it before it happens, but when it does, it just feels connected to using pleasure as my compass. And I don't mean just like the topical pleasures and the simple ones that I mentioned, but deeper ones too. Deeper pleasures of what feels truly right to me and aligned to me in my soul, in my bones. So as the new year begins, I wish that for you too. I wish you all experience pleasure and find more and more experiences that you can experience pleasure in, no matter what it is. And noticing what that opens up in your life, if it does. So let's jump into our topic today and our experiential. I love the idea of transcending time, using the space where time isn't a limit and we can move easily back into time as we know it, or forward into time as we know it. But the soul doesn't really know time. And we've often heard that past, present, and future is one and the same, or it's all happening at one time. It's all complete in this moment. And that may be hard to conceptualize. I know it is for me sometimes, but I do feel we have some access to who we are going to be, who we are becoming, and what may be in the future. We do have psychic abilities or intuitive abilities that can tell us something that's different from the now, that's forward from now. And we do have the ability to be with things in the past, no matter what amount of time has passed. Sometimes things cling to us, or sometimes experiences are not yet resolved, and the soul doesn't know time. Some people say time heals, and I don't believe that's necessarily true. Time can help in some cases where we need a little time to process. We need time to go forward, especially where our healing process is already moving towards integration. Time can support us. But saying time is the only factor, time heals, I don't necessarily believe that, because time can amplify and layer and accumulate experiences that are painful over and over each other, especially in places of our psyche that we didn't have enough resource, or that call for more support, or that are so scary that we didn't want to go back, or we resist it for some reason. And in those cases, I don't believe time heals at all. It just leaves something dormant or latent in us, or active from the back door where things happen that we really do not like and we keep getting in the same situation. And if you've been listening to this podcast, you might know my take on that all of that is to support us in knowing ourselves more deeply, in bringing us back to our safe, creative, flowing, abundant self. So with this experiential, we're working with our past self, only the parts that, for the moment, that can bring us a sense of safety and resource. And we're working with our future self to bring support and a distanced perspective that can allow us to move with more space in the now. We can give a sense of agreement to our present day selves, agreeing with how life is right now. And that compels us and moves us forward. So it doesn't mean we have to stay where we are. Agreeing with what's happening is a full embracing and acknowledgement of what we feel and what's happening. And that lets us be integrated and digest through what's here so we can move forward. It's loving ourselves through the experience of the moment and appreciating the journey. And if you don't appreciate, that's okay. Noticing how you're experiencing it. There's no need to appreciate your journey. But we do know that acknowledging it can truly be healing and integrative. So that's enough of me talking. Let's jump into the experience. I invite you to just tune into yourself and draw all of your awareness towards yourself here, all the parts of you, any parts of you in the past, your thoughts or mind remaining in experiences. Invite those parts of you back to the now and into your body. Invite any part of you that's in the future, thinking about your plans or what's coming, to sync up with your present day self. And as you breathe, feel your spine. Feel free to give a little movement if you'd like. Stretch if you need. We're just getting into the body and feeling what's happening inside, imagining what's happening inside as if you could see the whole inner landscape. And feel free to sit in a comfortable position or stand however you'd like to be. You can even lie down. And I invite you now to travel on a prism, on a rainbow that comes from the prism through time, and just journey into the past. And let yourself land at a time you felt okay, or you felt like yourself, affirmed in who you are, or a time that was pleasurable. When you land here, notice that experience. See all of the details of that experience, and it can be a simple thing, a simple moment, or it could be a significant or meaningful moment. It doesn't matter. Notice what happens in your body right now as you make contact with this time in the past. And let yourself marinate into that experience as if it's happening now. Notice your breath, if there's a deeper breath or a shift. Feel your heart, any tension around it, if that changes, your emotions. Notice your senses, notice your ability to see, and if there's a different kind of clarity as you look around. Sense any shifts in your body or the ability to be more in your body. And also notice if other emotions come up that may be wanting to move through. And from here, you can travel on that rainbow again and go to another time in the past where you felt okay or like yourself. And if you'd like to do that, feel free to pause here with the recording and take a little more time there. And you can do that as many times as you want, just going to other moments where you felt okay, where you felt pleasure, tiny little moments or big ones. And when you're ready to jump back into this experience with us, or if you're ready now, we'll move on to the next step. So take an inner snapshot of what's happening here as you feel into where you felt like yourself or felt okay. And take that feeling with you in your body as you hop back on that rainbow and go the other direction and move back towards the present. Let the rainbow just take you on this ride as you travel into the future. And it doesn't matter how far into the future you go. It doesn't matter if you know what your future self will be or look like. Just let yourself be taken there. When you land in a spot in the future, notice how it is to be in your body here, imagining that you are your future self. And if this is challenging or not possible right now, not accessible, I'd invite you to hop on another rainbow, the double rainbow that's right there near you. Hop on that other rainbow and distance yourself from yourself and be someone else. Be someone kind and loving and compassionate. And that could be a person, animal, or spiritual figure, or any being, known or unknown to you. So it could be a total stranger. Whichever part you're in, your future self or another being, notice how it feels here. Notice what there is to see around you in the future. Without any pressure or expectation or filter. Then take a look at your present day self. Notice, how are you? How is your present day self? How are you feeling? And what's happening in your life? Acknowledge any feelings, any experiences that your present day self is having without trying to change them. Just look at your present day self with presence. What advice, support, or wisdom do you have for your present day self? And feel free to say those things to your present day self now. Are there any words that your present day self needs to hear? Or any words to soothe or bring resolve to your present day self? Any affection or touch that your present day self would need? And check to see if there's anything else that you want to tell your present day self or let them know. And when you are ready, hop back on your rainbow and journey back to the present. As you arrive there, in your periphery, see your past self, the parts of you that you touched into where you felt okay or felt like yourself, and your future self, or that being that was kind and loving on the double rainbow. And notice how you feel now in your body, now in this place of the present. Give yourself a little moment to land here, back into your body, and just let go of the rainbow, let go of the past and future, just being right here, right now. And if your eyes were closed at all, feel free to open them at your pace and to look around your space, touch your body to give it the sense that you're here right now with yourself. Notice how your body feels now, how your emotions are, your energy state. Feel free to focus on any part of your feeling sense, your experience in your body that feels supportive, helpful, calming, empowering, anything that feels pleasant or even neutral. And I invite you to take that energy with you into your day, into your week, into your year. Feel free to visit your past self or your future self whenever you need any more wisdom or insight, perspective, or that reminder to your nervous system and body that you can feel okay, that you can build upon that. And as you begin to transition, feel free to move your body even more if you need. Take a couple of cleansing deep breaths if you'd like to. And release all of that as you step forward into your day. And I'm so glad that we were here together practicing this. I love traveling through time and using time in ways that seem to trick your logical mind that wants to run on time. And so I invite you later in this season to check out other experientials that'll offer that journey or transcend time or build upon our relationship to time. Thanks so much for joining me today, and I'm just wishing you a lovely new year. I hope that you take your sweet time. If you're interested in the couple of podcasts that have already been out around time, there's Take Your Sweet Time with Krimena Yordanova, a guest of mine who's from Bulgaria and is in Amsterdam. And that's at candice.com/Krimena, Kremena. She brings this lovely sense of taking our sweet time to be ourselves and to let the world of our lives unfold. And there's also a podcast episode 34 around loving yourself, how to love yourself by letting the past be over. There are a couple of experientials there, 3 of them actually, taking inventory on what's stuck in time in your life, in your soul and psyche, in your ancestry or past life, closing a relationship that haunts you or seems to still be entangled with your energy or your emotional states, and completing a chapter in the past through an embodied healing process. You can find that at candicewu.com/pastisover. Be sure to check out the Ally with Death Experiential if you are still interested. And if you'd like to stay informed about my book that will be coming out around our relationship with money and abundance and healing that relationship, or if you'd like self-love notes and updates about the podcast and experientials, you can sign up for my newsletter that comes out once or twice a month at candicewu.com/embody. And just as a quick reminder, all of the experientials and meditations are searchable on this lovely database at candicewu.com/meditations. Thank you so much for joining me today, and it's so wonderful to have you here in the new year, 2020. Hope it's a lovely one for you, where you come to know yourself more deeply and love yourself through that journey. See you next time on the Embody Podcast.